Before it's too late, Archangel Michael is trying to reach you about someone you still love, but they've already made their choice. Watch immediately. Before it's too late, this sacred transmission reaches you, not by chance but by divine arrangement. Archangel Michael speaks now, not to the many, but to the few, to the set apart, to the spiritually sensitive, to the one who has been wrestling in silence with a love that no longer speaks, a connection that now echoes with absence. This isn't a message for everyone. This is a spiritual alert for the chosen, for those whose hearts still cry for answers even after the silence has set in. You are being summoned, and it is not with noise, but with stillness. For this moment, do not speak. Do not act. Only listen. For the Spirit of the Lord is speaking, and Archangel Michael has been sent as his herald. You know the one you still love, the one who changed. They've already made their choice and heaven has allowed it. But do not mistake their silence for peace, nor their distance for power. There is still a message waiting to be revealed, a message hidden from their eyes but sent directly to you. What you once felt was yours has been rerouted. What once brought you comfort now brings confusion. But before you rush to heal, before you ask why, listen. This moment is sacred. It had been carved into divine time. You were meant to hear this now, not earlier, not later. Heaven has issued a restriction of speech, not because there is nothing to say, but because your spirit must hear louder than your mind. The battle is not in what you say, it is in what you finally understand. They have chosen, but heaven has chosen too, and you are not forgotten. Your tears have not been lost. Your pain has not been in vain. The silence they offered you was not a curse, it was a cover, a spiritual shield. And now, the veil is being lifted. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 999 is now surrounding you. Before the clock strikes midnight, heaven interrupts the regular rhythm of your day to send this message. This is not a casual moment. This is not just a coincidence that you have been led here. This is divine orchestration. Archangel Michael speaks, not as a whisper, but as a trumpet, declaring in the unseen, you have been summoned. Your spirit has heard it, even if your ears have not. Your heart has sensed the stirring, even if your mind has not yet caught up. Something sacred is occurring, and you are being called into position before it's too late. Listen, truly listen, as heaven disrupts your timeline. You are being intercepted by a holy force that will not wait again. This is your spiritual summons. This is your moment of awakening. The door that once stood open to a connection you cherished has closed. And yet, the voice of the Most High is not finished speaking about it. The one you love in. They've made their decision. They've stepped into silence. But silence in the human realm often means war in the spirit realm. The lack of words on earth echoes with decisions made behind veils. They don't even know that you are being warned, but you are. You are being drawn into a chamber of revelation, a place where Archangel Michael now stands as your messenger and your guard. He is not speaking softly. He is calling urgently. Rise, he says, for you have been chosen to hear what others are not yet ready to understand. The urgency is not out of panic, it is in divine strategy. Heaven does not panic. Heaven prepares. And right now, you are being prepared. The shift that has occurred in your life, the confusion, the loss of communication, the coldness that replaced one's familiar warmth, was not just a relational change. It was a spiritual alarm. It was the bell of transition being rung in the courts of heaven. The one you still love has already walked away in spirit, though they may have remained in form for a season. Their heart disengaged before their lips said goodbye. And though your soul sensed it, you doubted your own discernment. But no more. You are not crazy. You are not imagining it. Heaven confirms what you have felt in your spirit all along. A shift was real. The coldness was spiritual. The withdrawal was divine. Archangel Michael is not here to bring you sorrow. He is here to bring you truth. You are being rescued from confusion and escorted into clarity. The reason the connection dimmed is because your light outgrew their shadow. You no longer fit in the space that once felt like home. Not because you failed, but because you have risen. This is your elevation. This is your moment of reckoning. Heaven could no longer allow you to carry the weight of a one-sided connection. The divine now intervenes to sever what has silently suffocated you. Michael's sword does not just protect, it divides. And it has been raised over this connection. You may feel the cut, but it is mercy. You may feel the loss, but it is freedom. This is not the time to chase. This is not the time to question. This is the time to align. A spiritual countdown has begun. Before the clock strikes midnight, your spirit must choose clarity or confusion, elevation or attachment, destiny or delay. If you hear this message, it means you are marked for more. You are no longer called to weep over a decision that was made without your agreement. You are being called to rise with understanding that this moment is your spiritual rebirth. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1516 is now activated. They have watched your growth in silence. They have witnessed your transformation not with joy, but with a quiet discomfort. You, the one they once felt above, are now the one they feel beneath. And instead of celebration, they chose silence. Instead of rising with you, they retreated. Their heart whispered your name, but not in love, in confusion. How could you keep growing after what they did? How could your light intensify after they pulled away? They don't understand how the very pain they caused became your platform for elevation. You felt it, in your bones, in your belly, in the tremble of your spirit. Something shifted. You couldn't explain it. Their words were the same, but their warmth was gone. Their presence lingered, but their passion had fled. They stood before you, but their spirit had already stepped away. They made the decision to leave without ever telling you. They chose another path behind spiritual veils, cloaked in confusion, hidden from human sight, but not from divine discernment. Heaven saw it all. And now, Archangel Michael reveals the truth. This was planned. Yes, even their silence was strategic. Even their withdrawal was permitted. Because the Spirit of God never allows a soul-altering wound without a soul-awakening purpose. The moment they began to fade, heaven began to form. What you call rejection, heaven calls repositioning. What you mourned as loss, heaven declared as liberation. But the emotional disruption was necessary. You had to feel what couldn't be said. You had to discern what was denied. Their subtle cruelty, the distancing, the indifference, the delay, it wasn't accidental. It was the evidence of a choice they made in secret. And now you bear the burden of knowing, without ever being told. But listen, there is power in knowing what heaven reveals, even when man conceals. You have not been forsaken. You have been entrusted with the truth that you could never receive from their lips, entrusted with the strength to keep walking even when they turned their back, entrusted with the spiritual sensitivity to feel the break before it cracked. The emotional disruption you've endured is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of spiritual promotion. Heaven interrupts your morning today with this word. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. Let them speak your name in confusion. Let them wonder why your eyes carry wisdom now. Let them question why your energy no longer reaches for them. Because heaven is answering your ache, and the angels are preparing your next alignment. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type I receive divine clarity in the comments. Blessing code 888 is now releasing revelation into your life. What you are walking through is not just heartbreak, it is a holy redirection. What you perceived as abandonment is actually alignment. You are not being pushed aside, you are being pulled forward. And in this moment, Archangel Michael steps closer, sword drawn, not to destroy, but to divide. To separate the sacred from the superficial. To break the soul ties heaven never approved. You must hear this clearly. This was not just emotional rejection. This was a spiritual rerouting. A divine interruption of a bond that was no longer worthy of the anointing upon your life. You see, when heaven calls a soul into purpose, certain people must be released. Certain attachments must be removed. Not because they were never loved, but because they cannot go where you are being taken. Their presence, though once comforting, became a weight. Their voice, once soothing, began to dull your discernment. And though your heart longed for restoration, heaven had already ruled separation. Archangel Michael declares, this separation is a sign of your rank. You are not average. You are not ordinary. You have been marked with an oil that demands purity of connection. The silence they gave you was not a punishment. It was a spiritual shield. And quietness was God's covering. You did not lose them. You were protected from what they could not become. Because if they had stayed, you would have delayed. If they had continued to walk beside you, your vision would have blurred. Your pain is not your downfall. It is your awakening. Every tear, every unanswered message, every moment of confusion was a divine alarm clock for your soul. You were being called to rise, even when they remained seated in shadows. You were being trained in silence. You were being elevated in stillness. And now, heaven reveals the truth. They had to let go, so God could grab hold. You have outgrown what they offered. Your spiritual hunger created discomfort in them. Your growth disturbed their comfort. And instead of rising with you, they withdrew. But that withdrawal was the divine's way of removing permission. No more cycles. No more waiting. No more questioning your worth. You are not a beggar at the door of love. You are royalty at the gate of destiny. Archangel Michael affirms this truth. You were never meant to beg. Never meant to shrink yourself to fit into their version of love. Never meant to plead for attention that heaven had already replaced with favor. Never meant to compete for the affection of someone who couldn't recognize the calling you carry. You are not forgotten. You are not unloved. You are not behind. You are being refined. So let the tears fall. Let the ache breathe. But understand, this pain is purposeful. Heaven is forging something through this fire. You are becoming someone you would have never touched if they had stayed. You are being transformed in real time. And though the process hurts, the outcome will sanctify your steps. This was not their betrayal. This was heaven's intervention. And though it feels cruel in the moment, you will look back and say, thank God they let go. Because if they hadn't, you never would have flown. You never would have heard your own name in the chambers of destiny. You never would have known how deeply loved you were, not by them, but by the one who numbered every hair on your head. So take heart, warrior. This is not the end. This is the unveiling, the pruning, the separation that must come before promotion. And though they have chosen to walk away, you have been chosen to walk higher. Type "I am divinely redirected" in the comments if this word found you. Blessing code 717 is now releasing strategic alignments into your life. Archangel Michael now issues a time-sensitive declaration. Within 3 days, there will be a shift. In your dreams, in your energy, in your emotions. A stirring will begin, and with it, a temptation. Yes, they may reach out again. Not because they've changed, but because they feel the shift. They sense your detachment. They feel the withdrawal of your spiritual permission. But hear me, they are not returning in truth. They are returning in confusion. And if you open the door again, you will re-enter the delay heaven just broke. You must be alert. This is not a casual warning. This is a spiritual alert. Something is being decided in the heavens. And you must not forfeit your breakthrough for the comfort of familiarity. The emotional confusion will come. The memory of what once was will tempt you to reconsider. But remember, they already chose. Their decision was not made in haste. It was sealed behind spiritual veils. Their heart hardened before you even asked what was wrong. And heaven has allowed this space, not to punish you, but to protect you. The next time they appear, it won't be for healing. It will be to distract. The enemy often disguises delay as destiny. But you will know. Your spirit will dine. Your dreams will shift. You may even feel their name pressing in your chest. Do not be deceived. The emotional shift is a final test. Will you trust what heaven has revealed? Or will you go back to what heaven has removed? Archangel Michael is positioning his sword not in anger, but in alignment. You have cried too long. You have waited too faithfully. Now is not the time to reopen what God has closed. Now is not the time to entertain what God has exposed. You are no longer in the same realm as them. What once connected you now convicts you. What once felt like home now feels like prison. And the change, that discomfort, is your signal. The next 3 days are sacred. You must guard your mind, protect your emotions, and fortify your prayers. Fasting is not just for food, it is for focus. You are being trained in stillness. Do not respond. Do not explain. Do not open your spirit to confusion. Heaven is testing your readiness for the next level. You must remember what silence taught you. Remember what clarity cost you. Remember how long you begged for peace, and now that peace is arriving, don't trade it for chaos wrapped in nostalgia. They made their choice, and now it's time for you to make yours. This isn't just about them. This is about who you're becoming, about the door you're about to walk through, about the calling that is moments away from manifestation. The angels are watching. Heaven is recording. And Michael stands between you and deception with this message: do not go back. Do not go back. Do not go back. If you feel the pressure of this message, it is because you are being positioned for promise. Your next miracle depends on your present obedience. Stay grounded. Stay silent. Stay still. Heaven is handling it. Type "I choose to obey" in the comments. Lesson code 444 is surrounding your heart with divine clarity. Hear now the voice of the guardian sent for you, Archangel Michael, defender of the righteous, protector of the chosen. He speaks not with the softness of human comfort, but with the authority of divine security. You do not chase, you rest. Yes, beloved one, you rest. You do not run after what was already released. You do not explain yourself to those who were deaf to your pain. You do not reopen the wounds heaven has already stitched shut. You are not desperate. You are not abandoned. You are divinely guarded. The silence they gave you, it was a holy signal, a divine instruction coded in absence. Speak no more of them. Mention them no longer in your prayers unless it is to release them. The name that once lived on your lips must now rest in God's hands. For to speak of them again would reattach what heaven is severing. Let go with reverence. Let go with finality. Let go with faith that what is being removed is beneath what is being prepared. Archangel Michael instructs you clearly now. Stillness is a weapon. Yes, your silence is not weakness. It is war. When you stop responding to emotional traps, you cut the cords of manipulation. When you stop revisiting what broke you, you activate the armor of heaven. When you pray instead of panic, you realign with the power that surrounds your name. This is not a passive posture. This is spiritual strategy. And while you remain still, heaven is moving. Your name is being spoken in divine chambers. Your situation is being recalibrated by unseen hands. Angels have been dispatched on your behalf, not because you screamed, but because you stood still. Stillness invites divine activity. So resist the urge to reach out. Resist the urge to clarify. Resist the urge to prove your value. God has already spoken on your behalf. Declare this daily over your life. I am not forgotten. I am protected. I'm chosen. Speak these words until they echo through your bones, until the shadows that once haunted your heart scatter before your sound. Repeat after the Archangel's guidance. I am sealed by heaven's decree. No weapon formed against my peace shall prosper. I walk under divine covering. These are not empty affirmations. These are declarations of spiritual positioning. Every time you speak them, you reinforce the barrier that heaven is building between you and your past. Your atmosphere is shifting. Your emotions are stabilizing. Your clarity is sharpening. And stillness is your gateway. Fasting, even if for one day, sharpens your discernment. Worship without music quiets your chaos. Meditation on scripture reboots your spirit. These are your weapons now, not texting them, not waiting on a message, not rehearsing the pain. You are in training. You are being prepared for what's next. And heaven is jealous for your attention. You must not split it anymore. The distraction must die. The attachment must end. The healing must begin. This is sacred territory. Heaven is hovering over your situation. But if you move too soon, you will miss what's being orchestrated behind the veil. Stay still. Stay rooted. Stay in the secret place. Because soon, what was hidden will be revealed. And you will know why the pain had to be permitted, because the protection was priceless. If this message has opened your eyes, type I am protected in the comments. Blessing code 303 is now building a shield around your spirit. And now, child of destiny, rise. Not with rage, not with revenge, but with revelation. You are not the same person who begged to be understood. You are not the same heart that once wept at every silence. You have been changed by pain, refined by confusion, resurrected by rejection. You have endured the fire, and now you rise from the ashes like the phoenix you were always destined to be. Your tears have not gone unnoticed. Heaven counted them, bottled them, transformed them. They did not fall in vain. They watered the garden of your next life. Every sleepless night was a seed. Every unanswered prayer was a planting. Every cry that echoed in silence grew roots beneath the surface. And now, the harvest is about to break through. Hear Archangel Michael clearly. You have outgrown what once felt like love. What you called love was only a mirror, reflecting your own goodness back to you. They did not nurture you. They did not guard you. They were not your partner. They were your mirror. You loved them as a reflection of your own capacity to love. But heaven says, enough. You must now receive what you have poured. You must now be poured into. The season of draining is over. God did not delay your blessing to deny you. He delayed it to unmask them. You had to see who they were, not through the filter of romance, but through the lens of reality. They were not your match. They were your mirror. And heaven knew that unless you saw it clearly, you would stay stuck in what once comforted you, even as it killed your calling. But not anymore. Now you rise. Not bitter but better. Not broken but bolder. Not abandoned but anointed. Archangel Michael stands by to declare, you are rising in rank because you passed the test. Yes, the test. The silence. The confusion. The detachment. The emotional wilderness. It was a test of identity. A test of trust. A test of whether you would chase them or choose heaven. And you chose right. That's why you feel stronger, even when your heart still aches. That's why you're starting to dream again, even as the memories flicker. That's why your spirit is more alive now than it was even when they held your hand. Because you're not who they left, you're who God raised. You are now in a warrior's stance. You no longer need closure. You no longer seek validation. You no longer crave their apology. Because you understand, their silence was your sign. Their absence was your answer. Their departure was your destiny. So rise, like the eagle, like the phoenix, like the warrior priest you were always becoming. You are not behind. You are breaking through. What they called the end was actually your beginning. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type I am rising in the comments if you feel your spirit awakening. Blessing code 1212 is now releasing divine momentum over your life. There is a reason this heartbreak didn't kill you. It was never meant to. It was meant to crown you. Yes, hear the words of Archangel Michael now. This emotional blow was timed with your next elevation. Not after it. Not before it. At the exact moment heaven decided to promote you, the one you loved was removed. That was not coincidence. That was coordination. Divine timing. Supernatural orchestration. Your heartbreak was heaven's announcement. The rupture you feel in your soul, the sharp snap of spiritual thread, it didn't come because of your failure. It came because of your favor. You were advancing too far, too fast, and heaven couldn't allow old ties to delay your divine timeline. The grief you feel, that's not just sorrow. It's transition. You are exiting one dimension and entering another. Your spirit is recalibrating, adjusting to new frequency, new light, new rank. And yes, they had to go. Because what you are about to step into, they were not designed to handle. What is coming next They couldn't carry it. They would have slowed it down. They would have questioned what heaven was confirming. They would have dimmed what heaven was magnifying. So the divine stepped in, removed what you wouldn't, sealed what you kept reopening, released you while you were still reaching. Archangel Michael reveals this now with clarity. Their departure triggered divine unlocking. You couldn't see it at first, blinded by grief, buried in memories, desperate for reversal. But something broke open the moment they let go. A flow of favor, a shift in atmosphere, a recalibration of heaven's plans for you. It had to happen. It had to hurt. But it had to happen. Now your name is being echoed in realms they'll never reach. Your name, yes, your name, is being spoken in circles of influence, in spiritual realms of dominion, in divine courts where angels await the decree. They may have dismissed you, but God has dispatched blessings with your signature on them. What you lost was limited, but what's coming is limitless. This heartbreak was never about them. It was about heaven. It was about God using what wounded you to promote what's within you. You thought it was just emotional pain, but it was actually divine positioning. Their exit was your entrance. Your silence made room for heaven's sound. So do not mourn too long. Yes, process. Yes, grieve. But no, you have crossed over. This is your coronation season. Your spirit has been anointed with a new oil, one that only loss could release, one that only betrayal could activate, one that only abandonment could awaken. You will rise publicly. You will be honored without asking. You will be seen without striving. And when it happens, when the eyes of others finally catch up to what heaven already knew, they will remember your name, the one they thought would fall, the one they thought would break, but instead the one who became. This heartbreak was never just a story of love lost. It was a prophecy of purpose gained. You are no longer who you were. You are no longer waiting on their apology to feel worthy. Your identity is not tied to their absence. Your crown is not delayed by their departure. You have been chosen. You have been elevated. And this was a final test. Type "I am crowned" in the comments if you receive this prophetic word. Blessing code 5555 is now announcing your name in divine realms. This is the moment heaven has been preparing you for. No more delay. No more waiting in the hallway of hesitation. Archangel Michael now commands, declare it, I choose divine alignment. Speak it. Say it with power. Let your voice match your new vibration. Say it out loud, not for others, but for your soul. Because this declaration activates the next chapter. Say why yes to your new destiny. You are not being called to merely heal. You are being called to move. To shift. To act. Healing is not the end. It is the beginning. Destiny does not wait for your comfort. It waits for your consent. It waits for your yes. A full, uncompromising, unshaken yes. Yes to letting go. Yes to becoming. Yes to the version of you that has been quietly rising in the ruins. It's time to walk in your calling. Time to pick up what pain almost made you put down. Time to revive the dreams you shelved while waiting for them to understand your value. But they didn't see it because it wasn't for them. It was always for you. It was always for this. Heaven is not moved by your agony, it's moved by your agreement. The angels are ready to respond, but only to alignment. Only to surrender. Only to steps of faith. You've cried long enough. You've replayed the pain long enough. Now you must walk. You are the chosen vessel. Not just selected but prepared. Not just touch you, but train. Your wilderness was your boot camp. Your silence was your sanctuary. And now your destiny demands your presence. Say it now. I let go. I rise. I move forward. Let the shackles of false hope fall from your feet. Let the illusion of closure be broken. Let the door to their return remain sealed. Because what is coming next needs all of you. Not half. Not conflicted. Not distracted. But fully surrendered. Heaven is not sending another confirmation. This is it. This is the word. This is the alignment. And the longer you wait, the more ground you lose, the more power you forfeit, the more light you dim. You are no longer a victim of emotional confusion. You are a vessel of divine purpose. So activate it. Live like you believe it. Walk like you own it. Speak like you were born for it. This is not a future promise. This is a now moment. What you do next determines what opens. What you say next determines what breaks. What you believe next determines what manifests. So rise. Rise, not just emotionally, but spiritually, mentally, occasionally, relationally. Step into environments that match your new frequency. Say no to what once soothed your insecurity. Say yes to what stretches your potential. Because you have been appointed for such a time as this. The divine doesn't need your perfection. It needs your participation. Say yes. Move with heaven. Agree with your anointing. Destiny has been waiting, and now it calls your name. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $50. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type I choose alignment in the comments if you're ready. Blessing code 1717 is now unlocking acceleration in your life. While you wept in silence, heaven moved in warfare. While you questioned your worth, the spirit realm negotiated your next elevation. You did not see it. You did not hear it. But the silence was not empty. It was occupied. It was filled with the shuffling of angelic movement, the repositioning of spiritual alignments, the shifting of heavenly decrees. While you lay in bed questioning your value, Archangel Michael stood sword in hand at the gates of your destiny, commanding, "Do not touch this one. Their time is near." The silence that you thought meant abandonment, it was actually the sacred language of strategy. It was a divine delay, not a denial. Because what had to be negotiated was beyond your comprehension. What had to be orchestrated required spiritual confidentiality. The angels were not late. They were locked in sacred exchange, speaking your name in realms you were not ready to enter yet. Dreams you dismissed as meaningless. They were messages. Numbers you kept seeing repeatedly. Confirmations. Strange moments of déjà vu. Signs. The spirit realm was thundering with movement, and your pain was the incense that stirred heaven's attention. Your sighs, your questions, your breathless prayers at 3 a.m. They triggered divine codes. They alerted heaven that the vessel was ready, the season was shifting, and the next level was overdue. Your pain was prophetic. It didn't just make you feel, it made heaven move. And while you were breaking, heaven was building. Your future, your provision, your recovery, your new alignments, your next calling. You thought nothing was happening, but something sacred was exchanging. What was being taken emotionally was being replaced spiritually. What was being pulled from your grasp was being pressed into your spirit. You lost what you could see, so you could gain what only faith can hold. Do not be fooled. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. In the silence, heaven whispered your name into rooms you haven't yet walked into. Your tears became a scroll. Your suffering became a signature. Angels took your brokenness as a holy offering and laid it on altars of remembrance. God himself leaned in and said, "Now, begin the release." Michael declares, the shift already began. Now it's manifesting. What's been aligning in the spirit is about to appear in your life. The conversation that didn't happen, it was replaced with a confirmation that's coming. The closure you never received, it's being answered with a door you never expected to open. The love you thought you lost, it's being transformed into purpose too deep for human language. You are now in the zone of divine transaction. Be watchful. Stay sensitive. The messages will intensify. The dreams will clarify. The nudges will become pushes. Heaven is not subtle anymore. It's strategic. The silent exchange has already occurred. Now comes the unveiling. So stop trying to understand what left. Start preparing for what's about to arrive. Type "I see" the shift in the comments if this truth speaks to your soul. Blessing code 636 is now aligning your life with supernatural manifestation. And now the sword turns. Now the scales of justice begin to shift. Heaven is not blind. God is not silent. And what they did, the disregard, the abandonment, the betrayal, the confusion, it has not gone unnoticed. Archangel Michael rises now not only as messenger but as executor of spiritual justice. Their betrayal will be their burden, not yours. Let it be known in heaven and on earth. God repays pain with promotion. God never lets the righteous weep in vain. He never allows injustice without reward. And what they thought was the end of your story was actually the elevation of your glory. Their dismissal triggered your deployment. Your silence activated your sanctification. And now, divine reversal is underway. You don't need to expose them. You don't need to explain what they did. You don't need to defend yourself. Because heaven has already issued a divine verdict. This one is mine. This one shall rise. This one shall be repaid. God has not forgotten the nights you cried. He remembers the agony of unanswered questions. He recorded the pain you swallowed so others wouldn't worry. And now, he acts. The one who walked away. They will see your name where they never expected to. They will hear of your rising in circles they once thought you'd never enter. They will feel the emptiness of what they forfeited. But by then, you won't be reachable. Because the table being prepared for you is not in their realm. It's in your reward. This is not petty vengeance. This is prophetic vindication. You didn't retaliate. You didn't curse them. You didn't dishonor them. That's why God is stepping in. That's why heaven is honoring your restraint. Because you handled it with grace, now God will handle it with glory. Restoration will not come through them. It will not come in the form of their apology. It will not come from them waking up and realizing your worth. It will come from above, from unexpected places, unlikely people, and divine arrangements. You will not just be restored, you will be revealed. The love they couldn't give you, it will come from someone who knows how to guard your soul. The opportunities they blocked, they will now be multiplied by the one who never sleeps. The joy you lost, it's being returned with interest. Michael speaks now. They'll watch you rise, unable to rejoin your journey. Not because of spite, Not because of ego, but because the elevation was never theirs to share. They made their choice, and heaven sealed the separation. You are now walking into spiritual reversal. From mourning to dancing. From confusion to clarity. From Regedian to Retinian. It is happening, not next year, not someday, now. In waves, in whispers, in wonders. Keep your posture holy. Keep your spirit open. You not glow. You not gash. Simply glow. Shine with the light only obedience can release. Move with humility only the broken can wear. Smile with the peace only the protected can feel. Justice is not always loud. Sometimes it's radiant. Sometimes it's your quiet rise that echoes louder than any argument ever could. If this word resonates with your soul and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type Divine Justice is mine in the comments. Blessing code 7777 is now executing reversal in your favor. Let that truth become the bedrock beneath your feet. Let it echo through every hollow space left behind. You are not mourning a loss. You are stepping into legacy. You are not abandoned. You are appointed. Archangel Michael speaks now, and his words cut through every lingering doubt. This was never your heartbreak. This was your breakthrough. Yes, they made their decision. But heaven has made one too. Heaven chose you. Heaven watched you endure without bitterness. Heaven observed your tears and counted every one. And now, the reward is coming. The reversal is here. You are being sealed for a higher purpose, seen in secret by the Almighty, and sent forth by the angels who have fought beside you. Receive this now as your final blessing. May divine peace descend over your heart like a healing balm. May every door that once denied you be reopened by the hands of God. May you forget the sting of the past because the joy of the future will be too overwhelming. May your spirit no longer be weighed down by what was, but lifted by what will be. You are no longer bound by their absence. You are liberated by your calling. You are not what they left. You are what heaven launched. So walk now. Walk forward. Walk in clarity. Walk in calling. The pain has finished its purpose. The silence has served its mission. The sword has made its cut. And now you rise. Archangel Michael stands beside you, not just as a protector, but as a witness. A witness to your faithfulness. A witness to your refinement. A witness to your rebirth. So say this out loud wherever you are. I am chosen. I am covered. I am called. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. And you will never be the same again. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this blessing. Blessing code 2025 is now activated and surrounding your next steps in divine light.